Before we jump into today's show, I wanted to remind you guys that we still have spots open for our NFL Survivor contest for this upcoming season. The season starts on Thursday, so make sure to check out that link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment, and go enter our Survivor contest. $10 per entry. You can enter up to 5 times. If you guys don't know what a Survivor contest is, it's really fun, it's really simple, but it does take some strategy. All you have to do is pick one team each and every week. If they win, you move on and you survive. Sounds easy enough, right? But the catch is you can only pick one team one time. So if I like the Patriots in week number 1 and they win, that's great. I do move on to the next week, but I can't pick the Patriots again for the rest of the season. So it takes a little bit of strategy, but is a whole lot of fun. Go ahead and check it out, guys. That link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Again, $10 per entry. You can enter up to 5 times. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, September 2nd. We got a 14-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video for all of my final plays, absolutely free. If that does interest you, if you do want to fade me, all of that absolutely free down in the pinned comment. In terms of yesterday, the Guppies, the Faders, they're going to be pretty mad. A 5-0, yes, you heard that right, a 5-0 sweep. Let's fire off the money gun, baby. Let's go. It has been a while since we've had an MLB sweep because it's such a high-volume sport. But let's go. A 5-0 sweep. Pump in some damn crowd noise there. The Red Sox come through for us. Andy Ibanez, I believe it was in the 8th inning he gets his hit. The A's in the Cards' first 3 and first 5 under both cash. I mean, that first 5 under we had to sweat a little bit. And then right in the top of the 6th, they scored a decent amount of runs. And I was like, okay, we got out of Dodge. And then that Mariners and Rays first 5 under, 5.5, had to sweat, but that one comes through as well. You know what? One more cha-ching. The soundboard's getting some abuse today. The ride of the day, guys, we did not end up pulling the trigger on a ride of the day. Maybe that was good luck. Maybe that was, hey, Ev, you got this today. But I do want to get back on the Ride of the Day train today. So if you guys don't know what the Ride of the Day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag Ride of the Day down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day, give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss, and we track it as well. You can see since we've been tracking, I believe we started in like late May. We have a bunch of people that have submitted Ride of the Days. We jump aboard again with one person's play each and every day. Shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to roll on Ride of the Day plays. If you lose, you still get that shout out, but you got to face the womp womp from the soundboard. But all right, what do you say we go ahead and dive into today's slate? Like I said, we got 14 games, so not technically a full slate, but 14, and we're starting off with Toronto taking on Cincinnati here. On the mound for Cincinnati is going to be Nick Lodolo going up against Jose Barrios. This game ends in a 5-4 win for Cincinnati yesterday. They kind of battled back because they were up, I want to say it was 2-0, then Toronto took a 4-2 lead, and then boom, Cincinnati comes back and wins. That's 2 wins in a row now for Cincinnati. Toronto has actually lost 3 of their last 4. That being said, they played Milwaukee, and then they played, obviously that game yesterday against Cincinnati. So not the easiest of competitions. Where I would say the advantage lies here is still with that Toronto offense. They're going up against a lefty today, Nick Lodolo, and he's been a lot better on the road than he has at home this year. They're number 1, Toronto, in average. You can even see via our dashboard, right? Number 1 in average last 30 days, number 1 in WRC+, number 1 in on-base, number 1 in OPS, ISO 6, slugging 2nd, all against lefties. You can see the top of that lineup, the first 5 guys have pretty decent pitch mix ratings in terms of our algorithm. So I'm going to lean towards Toronto. I don't mind the idea of an over, though. Jose Barrios, as good as he is, he definitely has had some spotty starts. I'm kind of thinking back to that Texas spot, 4 1/3, 10 hits, 6 earned, 2 home runs, just 2 strikeouts. He did bounce back decently against Miami, but still, this is a guy that at any given moment, if an offense is getting hot, he is gettable, right? He's not an absolute swing and miss type pitcher by any means. So if we're in Great American Ballpark today and the ball is being hit, I expect some runs to come in, so I don't mind that over 8.5 either. If you like the Toronto team total over, I can get behind that as well. Santillan and Pagan have both gone 2 of the last 3 days in the bullpen. 16 for Pagan, 13 for Santillan yesterday. The day before, 15 and 19. So I don't expect 2 of their best if not their two best late inning bullpen arms to be available. So maybe just a Toronto team total over is something worth considering here as well. All right, next up we have the Tigers taking on the Mets. Sawyer Gipson-Long is going to be on the mound for the Tigers. He has, I believe, a couple starts under his belt here for the Tigers this season, but we haven't seen him in a while in terms of starting. I think his last start was way back in June. He does have a relief appearance in mid-August there, but on the season, he's got a 4.3 ERA, a 1.04 whip. Again, these are all in somewhat limited innings, though, so we have to keep that in mind. He's going up against the Mets offense that has been absolutely tearing it up. Yesterday, they won this game 10-8. We liked the over in that game. Of course, we didn't take it. We probably could have, anything we touched yesterday that we really liked probably would have turned to gold because of the day we had, right? But both Sean Manaea didn't make it out of the fourth inning. Same thing with Charlie Morton. In this spot, I guess I would also say Mets in their team total over. The reason I consider their team total over is because Noah McLean is on the bump for the Mets, and while I think this kid is good, I don't know if, he's going to have some regression as obviously a young pitcher here, starting off with two straight, actually, is it three straight good starts? I think maybe three straight. I think he was the primary pitcher for one of those. So technically 3 straight outings is probably the best way of putting it. But to me, he's coming off of an 8-inning shutout performance against Philadelphia. Yeah, that's a really good offense. I do think that, he's probably due for some regression at some point. We haven't seen too much worthy of that take yet, but he's still a 24-year-old. So to me, maybe the Mets team total over is the correct move because then you don't have to worry about the pitching. Their bullpen did get some run. I mean, Diaz, Roger, Helsley, Raley, Soto, and Stanek all pitched yesterday. None of them pitched the day before, so they may be good to go. But still, I'm wondering if this kid is due for a little bit of regression. That's just kind of like a pessimistic kind of thought. But to me, it could be a spot for that. Another player prop spot, I don't have it listed on here, but I do really like Juan Soto's pitch mix here against Sawyer Gipson-Long. The problem is, do we know exactly how many innings we're going to get out of Gipson-Long or anything like that? I mean, they did use a couple long relievers and middle relievers yesterday, so maybe they're looking for him to give you five plus innings, which would be good for Soto because of that pitch mix. But Mets and their team total over, really the only thing that I'm considering in this one, and even still, there's a little bit of cringiness even when I say it because I say that young pitcher could regress. What if this Mets offense all of a sudden decides to regress, right? Like, they're hot right now, but are they going to remain hot? Not sure. We've already seen kind of a dud in the midst of this. They scored 1 run in that game against Miami. Outside of that, it was 10, 8, 19. But what if they drop another dud? I feel like there's a lot of what ifs in this spot. What a good transition, because where there is no what-ifs is over on Chalkboard. Right now, if you sign up with the code GUYBOSS, and I also have a link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment of this video, no what-ifs, you're going to get $20 free. This is a limited time offer, guys, so make sure to go capitalize, especially before football season. This is $20. No deposit necessary or anything like that. You sign up. If it's available in your state, you sign up, boom. $20 in your account. You got to make sure you're using code GUYBOSSON to trigger that $20 though. So go check it out, guys. Link down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. If you're like, well, I like the sound of $20, but what the hell is Chalkboard? Chalkboard is a DFS fantasy app in which you pick more or less based on player set projections. You can see a couple examples there with JJ and Jalen Hurts, right? Now, what you do is you put 2 or more of those into an entry. The more you get correct, the more you do get paid out. What's really cool about Chalkboard is they actually have game picks in there as well. You can pick the team to win. You can also pick more or less in terms of runs scored in the game. So you can get some, normal type plays in there as well. It's not just player props. You can get some game picks. So go check it out, guys. Link down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. 20 free bucks. Are you kidding me? Go ahead and check it out. Let's jump back into these games. Next up, we have the Pirates taking on the Dodgers here. Pirates coming off of a series against the Red Sox in which they win 2 of 3. They even took 2 of 4 or 2 of 3. I think it was 2 of 4 against St. Louis, and they swept the Rockies before that. So they have now won 7 of their last 10 games. Don't look now, the Pirates are hot. Probably not. Now, the Dodgers lose 2 of 3 against Arizona. They have won 6 of their last 10 games, though. Today on the mound for the Pirates is going to be, I think, opened up by Carmen Mildinsky, right? And then, when he opens, he's been pitching like 3 innings, so it's a decent chunk. And then I believe the primary pitcher who's going to get those sort of meat innings is going to be, it looks like Bubba Chandler. So there are some question marks in terms of who is and who isn't pitching here for the Pirates. To me, Clayton Kershaw on the other side of things is definitely an advantage, regardless of if it's Mlodzinski for a bunch of innings, if it's Bubba Chandler. It doesn't really matter to me. Kershaw's been pitching really, really well. The only start in which he's allowed more than one earned run in his last 5 starts came at Coors Field, and he pitched 5 2/3, 3 earned in a 9-5 win for the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers. He's got a 1.2, including that game, 1.2 ERA over his last 5 years, allowing just 4.4 hits per game, 0.2 home runs per game. If you can get the Dodgers at somewhat of consumable price, that's going to be the spot that I consider. You can even see via the pitch mix. And by the way, guys, I'll explain how to get access to our MLB dashboard, which is what you're seeing right here, in just a couple games. I'll kind of give a shout out and walk through as to how to get it. So just sit tight, right? Stay patient. You can see he's going to throw the slider. One of the worst pitches here for Pittsburgh. They also struggle against the lefty. None of these guys have really good pitch mix ratings against him. Yes, the fastball is going to be another one of his pitches, and they do seem like the top of the order seem to hit that fastball well. The curveball, maybe they hit well as well, but this is such a good bright spot for him. That slider, the pitch that he throws more than anything, should be a pretty damn good pitch. And on the road, he's been very, very good, right? 1.12 whip on the season, 2.78 FIP, a 5% walk rate, and a 1.9 ground ball to fly ball rate. So I do like the idea of Kershaw in this spot. Their bullpen's good to go as well. Is it all that great? No, but if they do need it, that's great. Flip it over to Bubba Chandler. And again, you're going to get Mlodzinski and Bubba Chandler. Fastball's looking pretty damn good for this spot. Now, I also do lean towards their team total over, as well as Freddie Freeman over hits, runs, and RBIs. The only two things with those is that I talked a lot about Clayton Kershaw, right? Kershaw, I think, is in a really good spot. Now, maybe he's due for some regression, but he's a savvy veteran. The issue with the team total over is you don't get the advantage of Clayton Kershaw because now you're just banking on the offense. There's also been a little bit of sporadicness with this Dodgers offense, right? 5-1-0, 5-6-7, 8-1-1-9. Like, sometimes you're rolling the dice with them. And then same thing with Freddie Freeman. I guess we have that spelled incorrectly. Let's get that D out of there. Freddie Freeman, the problem is we don't know exactly how many innings we're going to get of each pitcher, right? Bubba Chandler, Mlodzinski. And I have this all based off of Bubba Chandler's pitch mix. So maybe that's worth being like, all right, let's take a step back, or digging a little bit more into Mlodzinski's pitch mix. And if Freeman checks out, then it's okay because he gets 2 pitchers that he hits fairly well. Does that make sense? All right, next game up, we have the Red Sox taking on the Guardians. This is one of our dubs yesterday as the Red Sox get the win. Today we have Garrett Crochet on the mound, who's obviously a guy that we can look at and consider each and every start for his team to win. That being said, Garrett Crochet is a minus 261 favorite here in this spot. He's going up against Slade Ciccone, who I do like, but Ciccone's going to throw a lot of fastballs, right? And a lot of sliders. Now, you look at this and say, okay, well, the Red Sox aren't hitting the slider all that well, but Roman Anthony, Bregman, Duran, Trevor Story, kind of the top of that lineup, does hit the fastball the slider pretty well. And then it seems like everybody except the bottom of the order hits the fastball well, which that checks out, right? So I do worry about him, even though I do think that I am somewhat of a Slade Ciccone guy. I mean, Bregman is a righty, Story's a righty, looks like he struggles against righties a little bit here. So the only real thing that I can pivot to and I guess conceptualize actually getting down in this game. Now, I don't think the odds are all that great for either of these, but Cleveland team total first 3 under 0.5. Can Garrett Crochet go out there and pitch 3 scoreless innings against Cleveland, the team that is batting 181 against lefties over the last 30 days? The fastball and cutter, nothing to write home about. OPS dead last, slugging dead last. I think that he can go do that, right? Scoreless 3 innings, maybe that's the only thing. And also their team total over for the entire game here, taking a peek at under 3.5. Now, what I'd be concerned with, and we'll go back to the dashboard here, is the bullpen. I don't know if you'll see Chapman again if you need him. Now, Whitlock, Slayton, Wilson, Weiser, all these guys should be good, and this bullpen has turned into a damn good bullpen, which is crazy. I mean, maybe it's somewhat on the backs of the fact that Chapman hasn't allowed a base runner, and I think like 45 at-bats, which is absolutely crazy. But I don't think they'll have him today, so it would kind of stink to have like the under 3.5. They're at 3, come around to the late innings, and boom, they get a solo shot or something like that because we don't have our shutdown guy as the Red Sox. So both of these are kind of like fringe plays for me. I get the rationale and reasoning behind both of them. I think Garrett Crochet is worth backing, but you know, you're paying the price for it, right? Like the books know that Garrett Crochet is that good. Might as well plug the dashboard now. I said just be patient, but we'll just do it now. This is our MLB dashboard, the Guy Boston MLB dashboard, found over on GuyBostonSports.com. GuyBostonSports.com, guys. Head over to the members area, click on the MLB dashboard, or just go right to sign up, and you'll get access to this dashboard. I think you can go to GuyBostonSports.com/members if that's easier for you as well. There's a link in the description if you need the convenience. But you have each and every game, each and every day, broken out in a visual format. All of what I would deem 99.9% of the key points. I say that 99.9 as in there's a 0.1% that isn't in there because we consistently add to this and work on it and try and get it to be better and better and better. So I'll never say it's perfect, even though a lot of you guys have said that this is the perfect research tool. But what we have is obviously team trends at the top. You have some weather data. We also have park factor now pulling in, which is essentially saying the percentage of runs, whether it's higher or lower than flat, right? Like, is the park playing to more runs today based on the weather, based on obviously if it's a dome, how that type of park plays, all that stuff, right? We have starting pitching data. We have starting pitching data for both home and away, obviously. And then we have starting pitching pitch mix data. We also have a pitch mix rating that is in beta right now and in testing. Garrett Crochet has a 9.8 out of 10 pitch mix rating today. So we just talked about him having a good day. 9.8 pitch mix rating against this squad out of 10. I don't think I've seen, since we've implemented this algorithm, I don't think we've seen some that high. And honestly, I didn't even notice it until we're doing the promo for the dashboard. But we also have some batting data here as well. Overall in the last 30 days against the hand that they're seeing. Garrett Crochet is a lefty. This auto updates to lefty, and they're on the road. So lefties on the road data as well. Same thing for the home team. We have them versus specific pitches, so you know how well they hit the specific pitches that this pitcher throws. We also have, obviously, you can see here the projected lineup and how they perform. Down here, we also have bullpen data, which is probably what I would consider one of, if not our best addition to the dashboard this year. You could see the bullpen, the hand they throw with the ERA, their role, as well as how many pitches they've thrown over the last 3 days. You also have just overall bullpen numbers there. Right now, guys, for the next couple days, if you do sign up for the MLB dashboard, you're going to get access to our NFL dashboard. This will go through Thursday Night Football. So September 5th is when this deal, I guess you can call it, kicks out. So if you do want to try it out, get the MLB dashboard. You also get the NFL dashboard here, which is an unbelievable dashboard. We have tons of stuff up here. We have quarterback data, obviously based on, overall versus zone, versus man, versus pressure, versus blitz. We have offensive data. We have defensive data. We have then those defenses. What do they play? Zone, man, pressure, blitz, all that. We have the lineups that are projected, right? The offensive lineups, so the skill positions, quarterback, DVOA versus those, so you know if a team is kind of struggles against covering wide receivers, blah, blah, blah. Also with an injury designation, which is cool. And then DVOA at the bottom. So yeah, you're getting 2 for the price of 1 right now. But what I would recommend is heading over to sign up and honestly just getting the all sports dashboard because, it's less than if you just paid for these 2 individually, you're saving yourself a few bucks. So yeah, long promo here, guys, but I do think it's well worth it. GuyBostonSports.com. Head over to the members area and sign up for the dashboard today. I know that was long-winded, but I get geeked out and excited about these things, guys. Comment dashboard if you made it this far into the video, and then comment, let me know if you do have access to the dashboard, because we have tons of people on here and tons of people in the Discord talking about it all the time. So yeah, let's get back to these games. I know it was long-winded. Apologies. Washington taking on the Marlins here. Cade Cavalli on the mound going up against Adam Mazur. Missouri has, I believe, 2 starts under his belt so far this year, one way back, and then one more recently. If I'm not mistaken, that was against the Mets. Nothing really to write home about him, though. Cade Cavalli on the other side of things, obviously a young guy, throws hard, has had his ups and downs since being in the league, but he's looked okay at home. In terms of his home numbers, .97 whip, a 1.45 FIP, an average against of 227, walk rate of just 2.2, and a strikeout rate of 4.44. So that's obviously good. Now, I think his athletics, and I guess the Phillies, we can give him credit for that one. So it's not like he's gone up against Joe Schmoes on the offensive side of things when at home. I do think that this is a spot that we can consider in the Nationals. I also look at the over just because 9 seems to be the number across the board, but there's still a couple 8.5s hanging around. So just looking at it from a value perspective, right now 8.5, I believe, on the exchanges you can get at like -120. Even DK in FanDuel right now still have them for normal prices. So over 8.5. But I will say, first and foremost, this is very much like yesterday's game in which, there's some question marks with the pitchers. Both offenses aren't all that great. The only reason we leaned towards the over, and I think we leaned over yesterday, and it was a, 2-0 game. Only reason I like the over to some degree is because both of these bullpens are, let's be honest, pretty hot garbage, right? So You have the worst bullpen in terms of ERA, second worst in terms of whip, and look at how many pitches these guys have thrown recently. They've been worked. And then over here, yeah, sure, you have the late inning guys, but I mean, a bunch of guys pitched yesterday, 22nd and 21st in terms of ERA and whip ranking as well. So to me, that's why we look at the over. Things could get ugly late in the game. And yes, these are two offenses that are not all that great, but they do have some like pop to them and they can get hot at different times, right? So that's the only reason. These are both fringe leans. The Nationals, I'm backing Cavalli because he's at home and I don't really trust Missouri, so sure. But ultimately, yeah, it's going to be an over spot just because 9 is the number out there right now, but you could still get 8.5s, you know, in a couple different spots. Not my favorite matchup, but you know what? I've done crazier. Maybe this is a final play. Who knows? We'll continue to look at it throughout the day. Next up, we have Tampa Bay taking on Seattle. Drew Rasmussen on the mound for Tampa Bay. He's obviously looked very, very good because he is very, very good. 1 flat ERA over his last 5 starts here. 4 of those starts, he's pitched 6 innings, allowing 4 hits per game. He's looking obviously very, very good, like I said, because he is very good. He's going up against Brian Wu for Seattle, and Wu has also looked really good. 1.6 ERA over his last 5. He's pitching past the 6th inning on average here. 4.4 hits per game and 0.6 home runs per game, which is obviously a decent number as well. I think both these guys, their pitch mixes look pretty good against the other squad. You have the fastball, cutter, sinker here for Rasmussen. Fastball, cutter, sinker, nothing all that tremendous. Yes, I guess from a player perspective, the fastball looks rough, but you could say the same thing. Sinker looks okay, cutter looks okay, sure. You flip it over to Brian Wu, you have fastball, sinker, slider. Okay, fastball may be okay. The sinker may be okay. The slider, not so much, right? And even still, you have a few of these guys not really, you know, all that scary against these pitches. Yes, the fastball being one, but the sinker not so much. And then that slider, the best they have really there is Caminero. And I'm not trying to make light of that. He's obviously a stud, but I think that Brian Wu can navigate this. So yeah, everything that I'm talking about here kind of leans towards an under, and I like the first 5 under 4.5. Both of these guys in their situation, so Rasmussen at home and Brian Wu on the road, this season have hit that under 4.5 and 70% of their either home or away starts. So I like that spot. And then in terms of the money line lean here, I'm just leaning the Mariners because I think these are two teams that as of right now are playing some similar baseball. Obviously, Seattle I think is like 6 wins better than Tampa Bay, something like that. But ultimately, these are two teams that are playing what I would consider better baseball. Tampa Bay is playing a little bit above their britches. Seattle's kind of middling right now. But I would just follow the plus money. And the fact that you can get plus 100 for the Mariners right now is a little crazy for me. I expect this one to probably be Mariners minus 110 by game time, right? So yeah, I think that first 500 I like a little bit more, but it would just be whatever team you can get the plus number for in terms of money line play, because I think that they're fairly 50-50 right now. So if you can get obviously 50-50 odds at plus money, you're technically getting some expected value there. All right, we have the Cubs taking on the Braves. Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs, going up against Joey Wentz. This is a tough one just because of the pricing. Joey Wentz has actually been pretty good. I mean, he has one really bad start recently. It was against the Mets. Now we've seen the Mets offense actually look pretty good. Shota Imanaga has been pretty consistent, 2 flat ERA over his last 5 starts, but I just don't love the price. So it is like a Cubs lean for me. I'd want to see what we can get if we watch how this price moves, because I'm okay with just passing on this one and not really forcing anything or getting down. I also don't mind that under 8. We liked the under yesterday, and it was a 13-run game, so obviously didn't really sniff that one out all that well. But to me, if Joey Wentz goes out there and does pitch okay, that's good for him. And in a spot in which the wind is blowing in Wrigley, maybe we do see something. And then the only other thing that kind of talks me off of it, I guess, in terms of getting down the under, I will say, Shota's numbers against this Braves team, though it's a small sample size at 21 plate appearances, 19% K rate, 14% walk rate. Don't love that ratio. An average against of 389 and a WOBA of 448. Expected slugging 416. So don't absolutely love that spot. And the Braves hit lefties well. So again, there's clearly a lot here that I'm sitting there being like, maybe this is not exactly the best move. The one thing I will say and give a little credit to Shota, we know he has that filthy splitter. And check this out. The Braves really do struggle against a splitter. So maybe anything we can say you can counter. That's why this one's a little bit confusing. But yeah, it would be Cubs in the under for me. I apologize because I am truly on the fence, but I'd rather tell you guys I'm on the fence versus being like, I love the Cubs. I love the under today, just to get the video to have a little bit more pop. Don't want to do that. Like I tell you guys, don't want to fake confidence for content. Twins, White Sox. This is a funny one because obviously we didn't take this as a final play ourselves yesterday, but we like the White Sox. We got a bunch of comments being like, thanks for the White Sox look and all that. And I'm reading these and I'm like, I didn't even get to capitalize on it myself. I think we could have gotten the White Sox like plus 170. They pull it out, what was it, 6-4, 6-5, something like that. Today we have Simeon Woods Richardson on the bump, who I do not really love whatsoever, right? Kind of honestly fallen off. He came back, and now I think his last start was, a week ago, and 3 2/3, 5 innings pitched. Now, it was against Toronto. Maybe we'll give him a little bit of credit, but I still don't think that these odds are justified. So with Davis Martin on the bump, he's been fairly consistent. I don't think this White Sox offense is terrible. They're kind of in like effort mode and playing okay. So I do lean White Sox in their team total over. There are a couple drawbacks of that, though. It looks like we're going to get some rain here in Minnesota at Target Field, which I will say, I think the run index is still like plus 6%, so maybe the humidity is doing a little bit more than we do the rain, because, guys, keep in mind, sometimes when it's rain, that doesn't just correlate to low-scoring games, right? A lot of the times, if it's that humid, the ball can actually stay in the air, depending on how it comes off the bat, a little bit longer. Big science guy. But I don't mind the White Sox team total over. I do want to keep an eye on the weather, and maybe we're pushing our luck, or maybe it's a little too risky to bet the White Sox, actually. But it would be White Sox and their team total over, kind of just fading Simeon Woods Richardson and also this Minnesota bullpen. Now, when I say bullpen, yeah, there is a team here that has the advantage. Look at how many guys went for the White Sox yesterday. Look at how many guys they have in their bullpen because of injuries as well. But we really probably shouldn't be taking the White Sox with no late inning support, and they are, in theory, the worst team out of these two, right? So it's a little tough. I hate to have two tough ones in a row, but for the value, I'm not paying minus 150 for this Twins team in this offense. Royals taking on the Angels. We have Michael Lorenzen on the bump for the Royals, going up against a pitcher making his big league debut here. We have Mitch Ferris, who this year in the minors, a 1.47 whip, an ERA of 4.27. 23 appearances, 22 starts. He has walked 55 guys in those 23 appearances. So I do think that, it's tough because we don't know too much about that. I never pride myself as a guy that truly knows these minor league pitchers like a lot of people in this space do. Credit to them. It's just nothing. It's been something that I've been pretty bad at. I guess my prospect scouting skills aren't all that great. I think the Royals probably do okay here. Now, they haven't seen this guy before. He is a lefty. The Royals do struggle against lefties, so sure. I'm also going to lean towards that under 9. But one thing I'm looking at, I mentioned the walks with Mitch Ferris. Now, we don't have a line out for him yet, which we'll see if we end up getting one. But if we can get an over in walks for him, this is a Kansas City team that has been walking the 4th most in the last 30 days against lefties. I mentioned how they're not very good at hitting lefties, but they'll wait them out. They don't strike out against them, and they walk against them. So, yeah, and they're 3rd best lefties against lefties at home. So maybe that's a little precise spot we can look at. We just got to hope that we end up seeing lines for this, which I almost feel like we may not in time, right? So Ferris walks is definitely a nice look, unless they set it at a crazy number. But I wonder if they even set it as all with a kid making his big league debut. Cardinals taking on the A's. We cashed 2 plays in this one yesterday, the first 3 under and the first 5 under. And then the game finished at 11-3. So good thing we took the first half there. We kind of said that in the video as well, not really trusting the A's bullpen or even to some degree the Cardinals bullpen, even though their season-long numbers look okay. We have Miles Mikolas on the mound here for the Cards. In terms of his most recent starts, he's looked consistent. I mean, he's coming off of a good one. It was against Pittsburgh, and it was at home. He's been a lot better at home this year than he has on the road. He's going up against Luis Severino, who has been a lot better on the road this year than at home. Now, Luis coming off of the injured list. I don't think we've seen him in like a month. I would still say that that's an advantage. I'm not a big Mikolas guy. I'll lean towards the Athletics, but where I give Mikolas credit is the fact that he does keep the ball on the ground, and he actually has some decent numbers at home, right? A 1.1 whip, a 2.27 average against, a walk rate of 6.3, which is decent, right? He hovers right around that 6 number. He's going to throw a lot of sliders. That's a pitch that they struggle with on the athletic side of things. You can even say the same thing about Luis Severino, right? The cutter, the slider, a lot of his pitch mix. The fastball is a pitch that this Cardinals team isn't hitting all that well, but the Cardinals aren't hitting anyone all that well. So I do think the under 9 could also be in play as well. If this was Cardinals for plus money, I'll be honest, I probably would consider that as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this price kind of juggles throughout the day, because Severino's probably going to get a lot of A's attention because of how good their offense is. He's the clear-cut better starter in terms of name, right? So we'll see where this is. I don't think I like the Athletics if they dip to negative money, right? So I'd probably pivot to Cardinals if there's a plus money next to their name. Astros taking on the Yankees. This could be like playoff baseball here with that AL. Now, I will say you can make an argument for either side in this one. So if you're hanging out with your buddies or talking to someone and they're like, oh, I like the Yankees or I like the Astros, if you're disagreeing with that, you're probably the idiot in the room because there are so many pieces that you can pull from both sides here. For example, Framber Valdez on the bump for Houston. Obviously, he's really, really good. Now, he has kind of hit a rough patch, but he did pitch against Colorado. It was in Houston. He went 7 innings, 0 earned, 3 hits, 5 Ks. Maybe he's on the, the straight and narrow, right? He's been dominant at home this year, and that was a home start. And then in the 4 starts before in which I said he struggled, he only had the one home start, and it was against Baltimore. They did lose. They got no run support, but he went 9 hits through 6 2/3, 6 strikeouts, but 3 earned. He's going up against Max Fried, who kind of is in I want to say almost like a similar situation, right? He had a few bad starts in a row, and now he's kind of turned it around. Went up against Boston. Boston won that game 1-0, but he went 6 innings, 0 earned, 7 Ks. And then he went up against Washington, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned, 6 Ks. So both of these guys seemingly in potentially better positions than they were, say, 2 weeks ago, right? That being said, both of them, in terms of their numbers against, and we'll flash up this screen right here, both of them, in terms of their numbers against the opposing lineups, aren't all that impressive to me, right? So I do think that this is a spot in which we could see runs, even though we have 2 really good lefties pitching. Valdez, 97 plate appearance against, average 300. Woba, 372. 102 in terms of plate appearances here, nearly 300 average. Not the highest of K rates. Expected Woba, 336. Both of them above 450 slugging. So yeah, maybe this is a spot in which we see some runs. Now, I'll also lean towards the Yankees for the simple reason of, yes, you also have Valdez that struggled against them. But throw in the fact that this Astros team, before scoring 8 runs yesterday, in the 7 prior, 0, 1, 2, 4, 4, 1, 2, that's probably not going to cut it against the Yankee squad that, yes, in their last game they scored 2 runs, whatever. But prior to that, in those 7 games, they went 5, 10, 10, 11, 5, 11, 7. This Yankees offense is cruising, right? So to me, yeah, it's probably a spot for the Yankees. But again, you can make an argument on either side for either squad. Hell, I said the over. You can make an argument for the under in this one as well. It's a tough game. I'm very excited to watch it, though. And let me just give a little bit of context here too, right? This is the MLB standings right now. So obviously the Astros are in, a playoff spot right now because they're leading the AL West. They are 3 games above the Mariners. That's great. So they don't want to get into that wild card race. That's what I've been saying, right? But they have a little bit of cushion. But the Yankees here are at the top of the AL wild card right now. They're, I believe, either tied. Yeah, I guess they're technically tied with the Red Sox, but they've played 2 less games than the Red Sox. They are obviously trying to, I guess you could say, chase Toronto, so maybe they're going for that. But either way, this is a Yankees team that wants to keep that number 1 spot in the wild card, and the Astros don't want to drop out of the wild card. Not that they're competing necessarily with, 1-1 because they want to keep their division. They either want to win the division or stay up here, but both of these teams going up against what they'll probably have as a playoff opponent at some point, or could have at some point, is going to provide a little bit of drama to this one. So yeah, just wanted to give a little bit of context that it's pretty much the Astros don't want to drop out of their current spot, and the Yankees have 2 reasons to play. Keep that top spot, or hell, if they play well enough and Toronto keeps sliding, they take that AL East spot. So a lot of implications with these games right now, and this matchup in particular in this series. So yeah, little baseball context for you there. Very excited for that game. Not so much excited for this, but I do think we have a potential final play in it. So this is no Astros and Yankees matchup. We got the Rockies taking on the Giants. Kyle Freeland on the bump for Colorado. Obviously, I say all the time that I do like him. He's going up against Logan Webb, who people say is my doppelganger, even though I do think it's more of like a Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Brad Pitt and I guess David Beckham mix that I think is my doppelganger. But hey, you guys say Logan Webb, right? I do think that Logan Webb can kind of hold it down for this Giants team. I'm going to lean towards the Giants first 5 minus 0.5, the run line. That said, they do not hit lefties all that well, right? And really not all that well. So if we look at this dashboard here, you could see the lefties for the Giants have given them some struggles. Colorado, really bad against righties. They're kind of just bad in general, but they actually have some decent numbers against lefties. Logan Webb pitches with his right arm. Where I also look at in this one, and I think I can get here, is the first 3 under 3.5. Yesterday was an 8-3 game, high scoring, right? But it was 3-0 after the first 3. Give me something like that again today. If Kaiwei Tang could pitch 3 scoreless innings, I think Logan Webb should be able to. And obviously, if who ended up pitching yesterday? I forget who pitched for Colorado. Tanner, let's see, Chase Dollander. He only allowed 3 through 3. If we could see Kyle Freeland do even better than that, I think we do see less than 4 runs here in the first 3. Now, you're paying a little bit of juice, minus 150, but that being said, this is like minus 160 elsewhere. So on Caesars right now, you're getting 10 cents of value. So yeah. Sound the psycho alert alarm. We're in cores, but I don't mind that first 3 under 3.5. I think that's something that we actually potentially get down today, which, you know what? Sound the psycho alert alarm again. Yes, under something in cores could be crazy, could be psycho, but we might roll with it. Keep an eye on the final plays. Diamondbacks taking on the Rangers. We have Nabil Chrismat on the mound going up against Jacob Latz. Chrismat's been good, right? Like, again, you want to think of him as like a young pitcher to some degree. He's not. He has big league experience now for 5 years, but he's never really been a starter. Now he has 2 starts in a row. So yeah, that's just me being a dummy. It's like I don't associate his name with a guy that's been in the league for a long time. I know that's crazy because I even want to say like 3 years ago he was pitching out of the bullpen for San Diego like every single day. Nonetheless, in this spot, Jacob Latz is on the other side of things, and I do think that he has a little bit of potential here in this spot. He is a lefty, which scares me. This is a team that does hit lefties well in Arizona, but still, he's got a 1.28 whip this year, 3.13 ERA, and he's got this Texas offense behind him right now, so I lean towards the Rangers. Do I think that either one of these pitchers is in the best spot? No, I also don't mind the over 8.5. There's a lot of 9s out there right now, and you could still snag an 8.5, which is obviously kind of a key number. So 8.5 right now you can get on, I believe, Novig, FanDuel, and yeah, then you're paying minus 160 on MGM. So if you want to get in the minus 140s, Novig and FanDuel are your 2 only options. But yeah, it's kind of silly to me right now to fade this Rangers offense. They have absolutely been going off. For example, these last 10 games, right? Now they do have one outlier in there. It was, you'll know it when you hear it, all right? Their last 10 games runs scored 7, 9, 9, 5, 20, 7, 0. Hint, there's the outlier. 5, 10, 4. Looking pretty damn good. Now, Arizona's been a little bit more spotty, but still fairly consistent in terms of returning runs. 5, 4, 6, 3, 6, 3, 8, 5, 1, 10. I could see some runs coming in throughout this entire game. You have an Arizona bullpen, which I really would not want to back right now. You could see it here on the dashboard. Really bad bullpen to begin with, and they pitched a ton of guys yesterday. So if you can get that 8.5, I do think that this is a spot to consider. And like I said, the Rangers, I think they do have a better pitcher on the mound as well as, the better bullpen. So that would be the spot that I lean. But you're probably, this price at minus 105, little trappy, I would say, because it's almost like they have the advantage in all 3 facets: starter, bullpen, and batting. But yet they're priced like that. I think the over is the play. All right, last game on the board for us today is going to be San Diego taking on Baltimore. We needed San Diego last night. If you guys are not aware, on the second channel, More Guy Boston Sports, you can just search More Guy Boston Sports in YouTube. We do a parlay of the day each and every day, as well as these picks videos. It's a little bit more raw, laid back. We go through the whole slate, kind of find some alternate lines and stuff like that. For a plus 380 cash, we'd already hit 3 legs yesterday. We just needed the Padres to come through, and they lose 4-3. Obviously, Adam to he rupture his quad, something scary like that. But nonetheless, Padres didn't come through for us. Today we have Yu Darvish on the bump. He's going up against Austin Wells, who's making his season debut. As much as I would say Yu Darvish is the trustworthy one, I don't know if I agree with the price. I still do lean Padres. Yu Darvish has been good at home, since he's had his starts this year, which obviously I can't say since coming back because now he's been back for a little while, and he's really good against righties. There is a few righties in this lineup, mostly lefties though, a little bit of concern. That's why I end up leaning towards the over, because if we get to this Baltimore bullpen, I think that runs could come in. Who knows what Tyler Wells is going to present as well, and then throw in the fact that Yu Darvish could easily get tagged up by some lefties. I don't mind the look of that over 8.5. It's just that I can't fully put my trust into you, right? I don't trust you. Yu Darvish. Everyone watching, I do trust the hell out of you. But it's like, yeah, when he's at home, he pitches well. When he's on the road, not so much. He's at home, that's great, but he struggles against lefties. Going to be a tough one there. So give me the Padres as well as the over. But again, that's a pretty hefty price tag on the Padres. I will say minus 173 is just what it was when we did our import earlier for the odds. You can get them at like minus 159, minus 164 right now. So that is a little bit higher of a line than what's in the market right now. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out Chalkboard. Again, free $20 for signing up. We also have our MLB dashboard. And by the way, I know NFL kicks off in a little bit. Futures bets. We did H to H. Episode 2 is being recorded tonight. Will be coming out tomorrow. But we have our futures episode that kicked off the season. That's also posted on the channel. I do it with Tassos. So go ahead and check all those out. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.